All right, excellent. So 6:03, we'll get the meeting started here. The first item on our agenda is if whether or not we have any public comments. Anyone sign up? Someone that might be logged on wants to address the committee on the project?
We didn't get any public comment. I'm not sure. So no one signed up for public comment.
All right, that saved us about 4 minutes right there. Review next steps from our last meeting. Check in on actions from our last meeting. I don't think I was on at our last meeting. So what were some of the actions that came up?
I think, Mayor, just to interject, from last meeting, we would just be looking for a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the August 15th SBC.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the August 15th.
Motion's been made by Soto. Is there a second?
I can second.
Thank you so much. Seconded. And I'm assuming, can we just show hands? We don't have to do a roll call. All those in favor, show your hands. And whoever took the minute opportunity to count that. The minute's unanimous.
It looks, Sean Sheedy's hand is up. Yep. I think we're unanimous.
All right, any opposed? Updates on the construction administration progress and schedule. So we'll pass it over to Chris and Petros to give us that update.
Thanks, Mayor. Chris, do you want to start or?
Yeah, I can start. I'm going to share my screen.
Absolutely.
Let me know when everybody can see that.
Yep.
All right, so the overall project update. We're continuing to review submittals and RFIs to help the contractor along, provide answers to various questions that they may have regarding the construction of the new school. It's ongoing construction coordination. So again, we're working with Fontaine Brothers. When questions arise, solving the construction related issues that typically occur on these types of jobs. I can tell you everything's going pretty smoothly at this point. There's nothing major that has come up. They're moving at a good pace. We are continuing to take cost control measures into consideration. So, any changes that are needed through coordination or other items, we're making sure we've reviewed any of the costs, rejecting those that do not apply, making sure that we're keeping our budget well intact. And I can tell you at this point, we are doing just that. We have a couple of minor change orders that we've had, but from a net standpoint, we're in really good shape for a project of this size and as far along in the schedule that we are. So we continue to do our construction compliance reviews and reports on a weekly basis. At our weekly construction meetings, I'm out there. I know Petros and his team's out there reviewing, the construction activities, reviewing the workmanship, making sure everything's meeting the compliance of the construction documents, the code and everything else. And, I've done several projects with Fontaine Brothers, and the workmanship with them and their subs has been very, very good. So everything's on schedule. It's on budget. The workmanship is really good. And I'll share a couple of photos with you that we have taken this week. So this is basically the south side of the academic building. You can see the exterior sheathing board. They are kind of tying in all the joints. The windows are framed. They are starting to place plastic over the window openings. Window installation should be starting in a couple of weeks, but they're going to want to start getting temp heat going. Workmanship and activities inside is just progressing at a fast pace. This is the north side that would face Beach Street. You can see the elevation. The masonry is completed. This portion has been washed down. It's nice and clean. The picture really doesn't do it justice based on the fact that the sun doesn't really hit this side well, but the stone, the brick, veneer, everything is just really nice. The jointing, the masons have done a really good job. The colors look nice. This is one view of the interior courtyard. You can see the masons in, starting the stonework at the base, working on the brick. They'll continue working up. And the opposite side is already completed. So their progress is really moving along. They're looking to hit that July 1st substantial completion next year. At this point, we don't see any issues with that. So they're getting ready to get the building closed in for the winter months. There's a lot of work that is started inside. The roof is ongoing. So this is the north side or the portion of the building towards Beach Street. This portion of the roof is pretty much done. They're doing some detailing work, and they're working on the opposite side as well as the gym area. So they have crews going in all aspects of construction in all areas of the building, interior, exterior, and the site to keep things moving. I think the daily manpower is somewhere between 80 and 100 men on any given day. So that's about where we would expect it to be at this point, and it'll probably continue to rise here and there.
Chris, just to
As you
kind of
go
echo
ahead.
that too, this week, I think we hit 107 on Tuesday, which was a record high for us.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that should, I would think it'd peak out probably about 120 and 130, but it's going to depend on the activities. So as you come in the main entrance, this is the main monumental stair. You'll see it's been installed. They'll be getting ready to pour the concrete in if it hasn't already been done. And then the view out to the courtyard, the walls, the masonry is in place. Things are moving around. This view is looking down the corridor on the north side, area B. So you can see the corridor framing's up. They've got ductwork installed, sprinkler piping, plumbing. They're starting to run electrical inside. The classrooms are framed out. Here's a picture of one of them. So everything's really taking shape. When you get into the building, you can really kind of see it taking form, get a sense of the spaces and the activities that are taking place. Fontaine continues to maintain a neat and orderly construction site. It's safe. There's been no reported, safety issues, which is very good.
Mhm.
And that's kind of it for the presentation and some of the photos. Any questions? All right, we'll continue to share them with you as we go along. Let's go from there. Petros, anything you want to add?
No, Chris, I think you hit the nail on the head. Just a few milestone dates, as Chris noted. Windows are starting to be delivered this week. We'll be doing a window mock-up, where we'll do an air blower test, to test the installation and ensure requirements with specifications and energy code. So that's going to be in the next few weeks. That'll be a big milestone for us. Other than that, I mean, really just to echo Chris's point, they're moving at such a fast clip, and it's really great to see. You know, I'm out there every Tuesday, typically, and from week to week, the change is just awesome.
That's so great to hear. And it's looking great. Any questions that anybody might comments? Petros, do you want to go over the financial updates?
Absolutely, yeah. Connor, do you mind sharing your screen? I believe you
No
have the
problem.
exhibit ready to go, right?
I do, so hopefully that's sharing that's okay. And hopefully the zoom is good on that as well. Yeah,
If you
okay.
can pull it back, I think just a little bit,
Just a little
so we
bit.
can see we're gonna want to see the cash flow, right?
Yeah, I'll scroll down for that too,
Oh,
but
perfect. Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, you want to start up top?
yeah, we'll start up top. So yeah, this is the little executive summary we put together. We'll start here in this top left box here. This is sort of our roadmap. It shows us the road in the past, how much we've invoiced previously in this green bar. It shows where we are right now. This black box is the current invoice package. And this yellow bar is the current unbilled portion of contracts. So all this together, this green, black, and yellow bar is how much we have committed and under contracts currently. And then this little brick road right here should have been the yellow brick road. It's white, but it still looks good. That is our road ahead, which is unbilled, uncommitted portions of our budget, which is mostly at this point contingency, and then also furniture procurement will be a little bit of that as well. So down here, we can see in our green here, the current invoice package. Most of that is the current Fontaine rec, a little bit from the design team, a little bit from us. 6% overall of the contracts invoiced previously, just under 30 million. And then unbilled portion of contracts, which is our yellow bar up there, just 38 million right there. And then we have about 13 million uncommitted at this time. And again, most of that is contingency at this point.
Okay.
So here, total invoiced, that's just the sum of our current package and the invoice previously, not yet invoiced, some of our unbilled portion of contracts and our uncommitted budget. And then our total budget here. And then over here in this top right box, we have our hard costs versus our soft costs. So just basic breakdown of how much is going to soft costs, how much is going to hard costs. And obviously you can see here the vast majority of it is hard costs. And this includes the Fontaine contract, but also the early site package as well. And you can see the numbers here too. So jumping on down to the cash flow, I think that fits in pretty good in there, but I can zoom in also if some of the bars seem small. But we'll start here with and this blue line looks scary, I know, but we'll talk about that in a second. So here we see this tall yellow bar that shows us where we are currently right now. This current invoice package this month, or past month rather, September. And these green lines are actual invoiced values. So every time we submitted invoice package each month, that's what these are. The gray bars were our original forecast. So that just sits in the background as sort of as a baseline so we can see how the forecast overlays with the actual spending. And that goes with this gray line as well. These lines that go up are the cumulative amounts. So the gray is the cumulative of the forecast, and this blue and red one is a cumulative of the actual. And then once we get past this yellow bar, our expected spending month to month going forward. And so that's what these blue bars are here, our expected monthly spending going forward. And you can see it's pretty consistent. It'll begin to tail off, maxing out around 5 million and then just working its way down as we near the end of construction. And then this bar here, this tall one, that is where we are currently holding contingency. So we are not expecting to spend, let's see, this goes over, above 10 million in this month. That is where we're holding contingency. And the reason we put it there is because we had a choice either to include it in the graph or not to include it in the graph. But if we didn't include contingency in the cash flow, we don't want to imply or show the wrong idea of potential savings. This cumulative line would come up very far short of the original budget in our forecasting line. And it's way too early to want to imply any savings, even though that contingency is very large. We don't want to imply that. So the other option is to include it, sort of in the other months, the expected spending, which would inflate these months, these bars here, and wouldn't give an accurate representation of our expected spending during those months. So we decided just to pull it out and stick it here at the end so that the month by month can look as it should be, as well as not forecasting or implying any savings at this time. And so that's it for our executive summary.
Any questions for Connor? I really do like this graph here. I appreciate how clear and how it forecasts and projects out and really gives a good, a visual of like where we are, where things are going, and this is good.
Yeah, thank you, Connor. And just to, pick out a couple dates too. If you look at where we were projecting with the white brick road, as Connor said, in the cash flow, you can see some pops where we were kind of low early on in the project, and then in July where it bumps up higher. That was at a point where, steel was on site and, just a lot more work was taking place. So you're going to have a little bit of that ebb and flow. But for the most part, Chris mentioned it a little bit in his presentation. With the model school, obviously, change orders are designed to be low on the project, but to be at this point in the project where we're about to be weather tight in the building, we're obviously out of the ground, steel's done, to have only a few change orders, really not amounting to a major number has been really great. Dave, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. So obviously we're not certain yet if we'll come in under budget, but we're fairly confident that we won't go over budget.
I think based on where we are, Dave, and where the savings were at obviously the bid, we're fairly certain that we're definitely not going to go over budget, and we are driving this thing to stay below. And Chris, I think you can probably echo that as well.
I would agree with you, Petros. Dave, we're gonna do our best. As I said, one of the key things we look to do throughout the project is control costs, make sure we're not spending anything more than we absolutely have to get the project, to where it needs to be in a complete fashion. So we're confident we're on the right path.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Dave. Were there any surprises? Anything that stuck out, or were this kind of pretty much anticipated, expected?
Mayor, everything's been, I wouldn't say we expect things, specific things, but there have been no surprises. Everything has been typical construction related. Nothing major. It's all little things, coordination here and there just to make, and everything we do is for the betterment of the project. We're not doing anything or making any adjustments that the contractor might bring up if it's not as an improvement to the project. So we want to make sure that the value's there for anything we do.
The
So,
furniture,
Chris-
fixtures, equipment, is that in there? Are you anticipating those
Yes, we
costs?
are. That's forecasted in here as well. It might be this little bar. I'd have to look at the breakdown again to know specifically, but it might be this little bump up right here. But it's probably spread out a little bit as well, maybe. But yes, it's in here.
Yeah, that budget's definitely considered.
Yeah, the blue line includes our forecasts, the breakdown of our actual costs, but also the forecast of what we haven't procured yet as well. But no, we are going to procure. Yes.
Wait, any other questions? This is great. And this was the biggest part of our fight here locally, and it's just, it's relieving to see like how well that this is all going. So speaking of the furniture and equipment, technology and all that, that's next on our agenda. You want to jump into that?
Yeah, I can take that, Mayor. So we are now roughly 9 months or so out from our substantial completion date of July 1st. So now we are starting and have started our FF&E, which is furniture, fixtures, and equipment. That's all the loose stuff that's going into the building. So we've had 2 meetings so far, one last week, one today. We met with Aaron, Margaret, talked about some of the furniture plans. And our furniture consultant is getting, quantities together for the individual rooms, etc. I know they met with Sean and Brian last week to look at furniture that could be reused, that has been removed from the old school, etc. And we're talking about, typically furniture that is in really good shape that will fit the building well. That will help save money and protect our budget to purchase new equipment and furniture where we really need to. So that process is ongoing. We've started it. We're putting together our spreadsheets and quantities and things of that nature. I believe Monday, we're going to be meeting with some staff members to go over some of those needs. look at some catalog cuts, etc. And then once we've decided on specific items, our furniture consultant will arrange for vendors to drop off samples for people to actually look at, sit in, try, make sure it's the quality and type of furniture that they want. And from there, we'll look to eventually put out purchase orders sometime probably early February so that we can get it all procured and then delivered when the building's ready in July. With regards to technology, that is basically in regards to all the loose technology items, computers for both faculty, students, printers, any technology equipment that would go in the school, displays that go in the classroom, things of that nature, maybe document displays that teachers would use. So we had our initial kickoff meeting earlier this week. And again, we had Sean was part of that, as well as the technology staff for the school district. So that went well. We went through all the items, talked about the various components that are going in with regards to, phone systems and things of that nature. So that went well. We're again developing a spreadsheet with all the needs in a room by room nature. We'll review that again with Sean and the technology staff, IT group in the district. Once we have everything itemized, then we'll start again putting together cuts for faculty to review, Sean and his team, and then again put out purchase orders sometime in February so we get procurement when the school's ready.
I was just
Any
about to ask,
questions?
when do you think that we would start doing this? But so sometime after February, we can start focusing on, well, procurements in February. But
Yeah,
sometime
so
we'll be doing interior really.
So we'll issue the purchase orders in February. A lot of it gets purchased off state contract work. Very little gets bid, because we look to get the best pricing, the best availability. And then when we issue those purchase orders, we'll indicate that the deliveries will start happening in beginning of July. They have a window, usually it's the month of July to early August, so that when faculty comes back, we can do the training on any of that equipment that we need to. Everything's been in place. It's been tested, functioned, things of that nature.
Our procurement guy on the team here, are we in any questions or feeling good about what he just presented on the procurement side?
Yeah, I've been copied on all the comms about the furniture buying that's coming up. I'm not able to attend all the meetings, but I will be at some of them. I'll be busy on Monday, but I've been dialed in since I took over.
Any questions for Chris on the equipment and all that he just presented? No. All right. Thank you so much, Chris. The school committee has certainly been very busy with the process of coming up with a name. There's also some work on trying to come up with a mascot, some colors. So I'm going to pass it now to our superintendent, who's going to offer some updates on the work that's been going on that front.
Yeah,
Anthony?
just a quick update, a lot of progress in that front. We have a survey that's been out for a while now. We have about over 530 respondents so far, and have narrowed down some of the choices of the new middle school. So that's really exciting. We did send an email back yesterday, just letting people know, where we're at in the process and trying to give that final push to get folks to fill out the survey, which we're going to close on November 3rd, so that hopefully we can have a decision sometime in January or a little before the start of the year, so that we can make sure that everything that needs to get ordered gets ordered. But in terms of the mascot and colors, some of the feedback that we got for sure has been that like students should be driving a lot of this and the staff members in those buildings. So we're gonna have a pretty big push in the next couple of months to make sure we are proactive in reaching out to the students of Morgan, Lawrence, and Donahue, who will be feeding into this middle school, and the students and families of Metcalf and STEM 6th and 7th grade, who will also be going to this new middle school so that they can provide us with, you know, some information that then the school committee can ultimately decide on. I think the school committee is going to decide on the name mostly, and then take it to that next step. And you know, we'll as a district, we'll take a look at all the feedback that we get on the mascot and colors and stuff like that, and make a decision on that around the same time. So, like I said, there's about 531 respondents now, which is a lot of voices, and we're gonna push between now and November 3rd to hear from more people.
To be clear though, on the naming though, the school board is coming up with, in this process, are looking forward to agree on a handful of names. And then those names are going to be presented to the council, that's where the vote will take place on what the name's going to be for the school.
Right.
But it's only the names, the mascot and everything else, I don't think that's the process. Yep. Any questions for Anthony on the naming and its process? No questions? Great. Excellent. All right, so we have here on our agenda, you guys are, you know, I think it's already baked into our calendars, the next few meetings that are coming up every second Thursday of the month, November 14th, December 12th. Petros, is there, right? That's set in stone, or is there anything that we're anticipating that we need to pivot as far as our next meeting dates are concerned for this calendar year?
I think those were the latest pivots because we moved from third Thursday of the month to second. I believe as of today, those should be standing, and Erin should have issued those invites, making those corrections to the second Thursday of the month.
Excellent. Put them on your calendars, and we'll get those meetings going. And that is it, unless there's anything else, any other items that.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motions to adjourn. Anthony, thank you. Second? Was that you, Sean?
Yeah, I'll second it.
All those in favor, have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. And I'll see you at the next meeting, if not sooner.
Awesome. Have a
Thank you,
great
everyone.
night, folks. Thank
Good
you.
night.